Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B. I've got my co-host joining right here. There's Sam Jesse. And this is our national show. CFB Monday comes to you each and every week at 8 p.m. Monday night to break down what's been going on across college football and a heavy dose of what the Hokies are up to. And boy, oh boy, is that going to be fun. We are going to be getting to VT Corner very, very early in this episode. So, Sam, how you doing, man? Let me hear you. You're on mute right now.
I am doing good. We are getting the microphone set up. It literally, so we both have the same Yeti mic, right? And they're pretty simple to use. However, there are a lot of washers and screws that go along with it. And mine literally fell apart right before all that.
That's
together.
all good, man.
It's fine. We're here. I feel great. I usually wear different college stuff on the College Football Mondays. We're going Hokies. We got to win. We're going to celebrate. It's going to be a great show.
That's right. So in this show, we are going to recap the Week 9 action, including the wild overtime win that unfolded in Lane Stadium on Friday. Stock Up and Stock Down is back. We'll be getting to that a little bit later with some of our teams on the rise and teams that are falling, not doing so well. And we're going to give you our playoff teams as we do each and every episode. Once Sam is up and running, I'm going to ask him to give us a cheers. I've got a beer. Sam may not be drinking tonight. I'm curious as to how you're feeling on that one.
Well, I feel fine. I did not have a voice Saturday at all. Like, could not talk. And then recovered fine Sunday. I do have a half marathon coming up here in a couple of weeks, so I'm doing less drinking than normal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't have one today, but when we get to beer review, I do have beer reviews for that.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Like to hear. I got a good one tonight to do a little celebrating. I really should not be drinking anything after the exhaustive weekend that I had, but I'm doing it because I'm a sick, you know what. If you have any questions, hop in the chat. Make sure to like the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel. It sounds like you're on your right input right now, Mike. Check your mic one more time for me, Sam.
Yeah, mic looks good and speakers look good.
All right, make sure are you tilted towards your logo on your mic there?
Speaking into the blue logo.
Oh, all right, there we go. All right. We're on our march to 5,000 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe to the feed as you're here and make sure to like the video, as I already said. Sam, give us a cheers.
I mean, could I cheer to anything else, Pete? Do I have another option? I mean, a double overtime win, night game, Lane Stadium. It doesn't get better than this. Many doubted at halftime. Many left, but not all of us. And I'll tell you what, Lane Stadium got loud. It was rowdy. It was a great time. Cheers to everybody in Lane Stadium for sticking it out, because those kind of games are why you don't quit.
That's correct. Cheers, buddy. Oh yeah, and if you're watching, I'll talk about this in a minute, but this is a banger in every way. We got a couple comments here to kick us off. Max and Cheese, one of our loyal watchers, went to Hokie House after the game. Water only tonight. The bars were crazy after the games. We'll get to that shortly.
I can't do downtown Blacksburg anymore. I feel
after
like
the game or before the game.
Really, at any time. It's.
And then Alex, beard's looking good, Pete. Hey, thank you, Alex. That's very, very kind of you. I was talking to Logan Ross in the stands. She said, if you win, you have to keep the beard for the rest of the season. And maybe depends on how nasty it gets under there. Sometimes it doesn't hold up so well.
Yeah, it gets gross.
The skin. But anyway, thanks for the cheers, Sam. We got a comment from Billy Ray, our loyal leader. Winning is so much more fun than losing. And that is so true.
Yeah.
Week 9, I would call so close Saturday. The Hokies were so close to losing. USF was so close to winning. Mizzou, same thing. UNC, come on. South Carolina was so close. Mississippi State was so close. Not so close. UCLA. Not so close. LSU, not so close. Syracuse, Kentucky, Iowa State, all not so close. In the AP poll, there are 4 new teams. We got Houston, USC, Utah, and Memphis in the rankings. That's 22 to 25. So literally the last 4 spots of the rankings, all new. No changes 1 through 6. Ole Miss moves up 1 spot ahead of Georgia Tech to number 7. GT is 8. Miami at 10. UVA at 15. Louisville at 16. 4 ACC teams in the top 16. 25% of the top 16 is from your very own ACC. How about that? Cincinnati moves up 4 spots to number 17 now that they're 7-1. We're going to talk about Cincinnati a little bit later probably. But the big news coming out of this weekend was the Brian Kelly firing. This is the last thing we're going to do before VT Corners, just cover this firing because it's pertinent to what we're going through right now. 34-14 in his time at LSU, Sam. 19-10 in the SEC. He had 10 wins, 9 wins, and then was 5-3 this year before getting the axe. And after winning week 1 against Clemson, you would have never thought he'd be fired just weeks later. Your initial thoughts on this?
It never felt like it was going to work, did it? And for all the people who say that fit doesn't matter for coaching hires in the modern game, Exhibit A. Because Ed Orgeron's not a very good football coach. Like, we have years and years of examples of him not being a very good football coach, but he is the perfect fit at LSU, and it worked. He recruited a ton of talent to LSU. Brian Kelly is a very good football coach. He's won a lot of football games at pretty much every single level. Did not work out at LSU at all.
Yeah.
Fit matters. Is it everything? No, but fit matters a lot.
Someone, I think it was Cover 3. They said like Nick Saban wasn't a fit at LSU either. And then he single-handedly changed the trajectory of their program. It's kind of funny how it can matter and it can't matter, but it always felt odd with Brian Kelly, the way he left Notre Dame when they were having an amazing season. I mean, were they 12-11? They won 11 games that year. I think, and he had been to the playoff a couple different times with them. He went to the Natty with them. It just felt like he had such a good team in his final year at Notre Dame. Like, why are you leaving something you've built? Because he was the first Notre Dame coach in a long time that got them winning like Notre Dame. I mean, people just take it for granted. Oh, it's Notre Dame. It's easy because of whatever they schedule and this and that. It hadn't been easy since Lou Holtz until Brian Kelly came along and he turned them around. Well, the grass isn't always greener, and it's not always easier to win a natty somewhere else, is what I thought he thought, right? Like, if I go to LSU, I'll have all the talent in the world. Every coach that goes there wins a natty, because literally the last 3 coaches before him, by the time they hit year 4, they won a national championship. The last 3 coaches before him, he's the losingest coach of their last 4 coaches, and he had 2 10-win seasons. It's crazy the standard that they have now.
You could argue it's the number 1 job in the country in terms of capacity to win a national title.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for him to, like, I don't even think they bottomed out or anything, but for him to just, the talent level on that team is not where it normally is.
Not on the offensive line.
I mean, they don't look dominant. Like, they used to, like, every single year, LSU was just an NFL team, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, every 22 guys who could go to the NFL.
I mean, every receiver in the NFL seems like they're from LSU. Every good one.
I mean, it's crazy. And they have so many players on their team that I feel like never, ever lived up to the hype. And to be honest, probably the best player on their team this year is Mansour Delane.
That is so true. So Mansour Delane, even though he leaves Virginia Tech, his head coach still gets fired.
Yeah,
and he's having an amazing season. And
he
very
made himself some money this season.
He could be a first rounder for sure.
Yeah.
But in this game, like what exposed Brian Kelly and ultimately led to his firing, it wasn't just this, but A&M exploded in the third quarter. Marcel Reed was ridiculous against that defense. 310 total yards for Reed, 4 total touchdowns. LSU seems to be wasting NFL QB talent year after year. I mean, yes, they win a Heisman and that lasts forever, but with a Heisman quarterback and LSU talent on defense, you should make more noise than they did. You know,
Well,
like,
don't say that Heisman lasts forever to Reggie Bush, but
did he get it back yet? Did he? Did he
I
get
mean,
the
look,
trophy
Reggie
back?
Bush won the Heisman that year. Everybody knows that, right?
But the
But
offensive line, like they lost a lot of guys. They failed to replenish. They didn't develop enough to replenish. And it's year 4, man. I mean, eh,
I mean, they
Elko,
brought in I don't want to bash anybody, but one of the best players they brought in on the offensive line was a guy who our offensive line coach said, nah, this true freshman's going to beat him out anyways.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
the best player they brought in on their offensive line.
yeah. You're referencing Kyle Tuner, redshirt freshman at Tech. He comes in, and uh, Matt Moore was like, "We're good. We can
Yeah.
we would like to keep Braylon, but we'll let him go." And they're just really struggling. So I'm how they move on from this, what they do now, Sam, I'm not really sure, because do they go and poach a big time coach like a Lane Kiffin? Like now Lane seems to have options, right? Because Florida seems to want him. LSU's probably going to offer him. He could stay at Ole Miss. He could go anywhere. He could go to Penn State probably if he wanted to, you know.
Yeah,
But
it does feel like he can name his job.
the other thing is, like, or does LSU, with this $53 million buyout they have to pay, decide, you know, we're LSU. Let's find a better fit. Let's go the Dan Lanning route, right? Let's go find a coordinator at a top level program and let's bring him in here and see what he can do.
Yeah, and so two things. One, the buyout with Brian Kelly is actually kind of interesting. So there is some pretty strong language in that contract that says that he has to make a good faith effort to get a new job as quickly as possible. He can't like sit on this buyout money. So I doubt they pay him the full $53 million. Also, it's not due up front, it's due in installments throughout time. So they got a little bit of time value of money on their side. And then the third thing for this, the way that universities are doing this is they are taking out loans for these buyouts. So this isn't just straight negative cash flow coming out of what they have already in the bank. They're going to banks getting loans for this and then loaning that out over the period that they have to pay it back. So yeah, I know they had to get like the governor of Louisiana involved because they don't currently have a university president, I don't believe. And look, if there is any university system in the United States that would do some shady stuff in the background to get some money for their football program, it's LSU, because that football program runs the state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think money is going to be an issue. I think what's
Okay.
going to be an issue is who is a better coach that they can go out and get who has won at a higher level than Brian Kelly.
Not many. I mean, even if you wanted to go steal Marcus Freeman, right? Like, yeah,
what has Marcus Freeman done that Brian Kelly hasn't?
He hasn't. I mean, nothing seemingly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Did you get James Franklin? James Franklin is Brian Kelly, except not as abrasive. That's it.
He's pretty abrasive. But yes, I understand what you're saying. Kelly is like, there's this aura around Kelly that's just like, no one wants to root for that guy. Yeah. Like he's tough. But the Freeman thing is interesting because you're talking about a 64-year-old coach versus a seemingly great coach on the rise that's going to make his mark in this sport, has already made it at an early age. Yeah. So like most programs are going to want Marcus Freeman over Brian Kelly right now. I think that's pretty obvious.
True. I mean, to me, Lane Kiffin from an X's and O's standpoint makes a lot of sense.
What he just did to Venables, like,
yeah, I will also say though,
impressive.
Like the way Lane Kiffin is winning at Ole Miss is very different than the way that teams have historically won at LSU, where the key is really keeping Louisiana talent in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's loaded. They did the thing for years where they would find a kid who was like a freshman in high school or a sophomore in high school or whatever. They'd offer him and they'd tell him, look, don't go to any more camps. We're not going to, none of the 7-on-7 stuff. You just go to our camps, our workouts, you play high school ball, and you come here and you're going to look like an under the radar 4-star guy or whatever. But in reality, you're a first round pick, right? They did that for years and it worked out. That's how they kept getting all of this great talent in Louisiana. I don't think you are going to out-portal Bama and Georgia and potentially Texas, right? Or Tennessee. Like, I don't think you can do that on a year in, year out basis. And right now, that's kind of what Ole Miss is having to do. I don't know if that's going to work. Like, for me, somebody like Dabo makes a lot more sense at LSU. Somebody who has that.
I just don't see why
guys from high
LSU
school
couldn't outportal those guys. They're on the same level, and if it's a matter of money, they're spending a fortune to get rid of him. So you just told me money's not real. Why can't they outportal these
swing
teams?
and miss. Like the portal swing and miss. Like Florida State's done it 2 years in a row now. They did it this year.
You're saying just from like a philosophical standpoint, you just feel like they would, percentage-wise, more high school makes sense for LSU.
If you want to win 10 plus games in the SEC every single year, you have to do the traditional route and then supplement with the portal. Whereas Lane Kiffin is having a majority of his roster come from the portal, supplementing with high school. I don't think that's sustainable at that level.
At the end of the day, LSU is going to be a blue chip ratio team year in and year out. They're going to have the talent. So if you just get a coaching edge, you're going to win 10, 11 games. I mean, winning 8 games at LSU, it's virtually a given. Like nothing's guaranteed, but it's as close to a guarantee as you get in this sport because they just have the infrastructure and the money and the backing at every turn and the talent all over the place. So you just need to get the right motivator, the right developer in there. And Kelly was that. And he had so many good coaching hires over the years. And then it just started to slip. And I'm not saying the game passed him by, but he made some errors. Like that whole, we're not gonna outbid people. Remember that from last year in the offseason?
Yeah. And then that was not the thing to like. I do feel like there is a little bit of the game passed him by.
Well, the NIL era, right? Like maybe it doesn't quite fit with him. And that's happened to a lot of guys that are, in their 60s in the sport. They've either retired or they've moved on or they've moved away from head coaching to coordinating instead. So it's fascinating, but the coaching carousel now fully in overdrive. We've got LSU, we've got Florida, we've got Penn State, we've got UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, us, Stanford, Oregon State. I mean, it's wild, and there's probably more to come because I'm not really buying what Florida State's saying. I'm not really buying what Wisconsin is saying. They might decide to sit it out because of how crazy it is.
So that's one thing I wanted to bring up with you because we've talked a lot about some programs might sit this season out because of how crazy it is. The flip side of that is, do you think LSU did this because they saw Florida State and Penn State make that change? And they were like, shoot, let's throw our hat in the ring. If guys are going to be looking, let's look for it. I feel like this was very reactionary to the results on the field the last 2 weeks, right? I mean, you lost to Vanderbilt and you lost to Texas A&M. 2 very good teams, but you lost to them. And you see kind of where the sport is heading, and they feel like if they were to keep Brian Kelly, they would fall a little too far behind.
Well, here's the thing, man. If you think you're falling behind in the era that we're heading, why are you hiring Dabo right now?
Dude, I don't know. Why is anybody doing any of this? I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out.
There's we're thinking of strategy to this.
The prototypical coach in today's world, maybe that's the philosophy. Like you said, maybe that's good for LSU, but it's not working so well for Clemson. And I know there's more talent in the LSU region, in terms of the way they keep the state home typically. But if the game is passing Brian Kelly by, there's been a lot of chatter that it's passing Dabo by too. So he's going to, his name's going to pop up. It will pop up.
I think the real interesting one to look at here would be John Summerall. Who's currently at Tulane. He's so well respected. And I think the in-state ties would be really, really attractive. And I also think the idea of bringing in a run through the brick wall guy who rallies the troops and gets everybody behind you and is very likable in that sense. I think that would be very attractive for a program who, for the most part on the national scale, has I'm going to use the word the kids are using, right? He hasn't this program has an aura that a lot of other programs don't have. And they have a popularity and a presence and a brand that is very attractive. Brian Kelly kind of diminished that a little bit. John Summerall would be a guy who would pick it back up in a way that, Franklin wouldn't, or I mean, really anybody outside of Lane.
I mean,
Kiffin.
Franklin is the exact same hire they just made.
Yeah, I don't think Franklin wants to go to LSU.
What a year to be Alex Golish, Summerall, Silverfield, Dan Mullen. Like, these guys are going to make a lot of money, man. And I don't know where that leaves Virginia Tech. It's going to be this next month is going to be extremely interesting.
I think the coach that you are looking at for Florida LSU is if a coach seriously wants to take one of those jobs, I don't think Tech would be on their radar. And then I kind of the flip, right? I think if you're somebody who's like, oh, I want to really coach at Virginia Tech, I don't know if Florida and LSU are realistic.
I think I don't. Those coaches could very well want to coach at Virginia Tech, and then a better job comes along that's like, we'll give you $2 million more, and it's LSU.
I don't think Dan Mullen's going back to Florida, and I don't think LSU is going to take him.
No, that's true, and I get that aspect of it. Someone asked in our chat, it was Jason Powers here, can we get commentary on the Paul Collins tweet a couple minutes ago, signed, sealed, and soon to be delivered? Did you see that, Sam? I just looked it up. I don't even really know who Paul Collins is.
Yeah, Kiki Palmer sketch. I don't know who that man is. Sorry,
it says like 247 in his handle. I think that's like not real.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to like bash Paul Collins. I literally he has 200 followers. I don't know who he is. He put out a tweet saying signed, sealed, soon to be delivered, like something Hokies. And there was that article today about like Bob Chesney, right? And there's been even more talk about Bob Chesney today.
Yeah, Bob Chesney's really interesting because he is one of the guys who was talked about like the second that Pry was fired.
Yep.
First name was Bob Chesney. Like
it was the most talked about name.
I mean, it was like that. People then these things kind of move in a circle, and we're kind of at the point where we're the furthest away from Bob Chesney. JMU's just kept winning. I don't know if he does a lot for you in terms of like bringing in the big boy football culture because he's never been part of that. But to say he's not a candidate is incorrect.
No, he's definitely a candidate. Someone got mad at us because we were like maybe a little dismissive of him on our last candidate show. We said if he goes out and wins the Sun Belt this year and he smashed ODU maybe shortly after we talked, he can absolutely make a great case to be the top candidate on the board. He can. It's just he doesn't have some of the other notches you want to see on the belt. Right?
Yeah, if you're doing a check boxes of stuff, he's not going to check a lot of those boxes.
My friend was also making fun of me because when we brought him up in the past, I'm like, good looking guy, really good looking guy.
Good looking guy. I mean, hey, good looking guy.
They do well in interviews, typically, those good looking dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move to VT Corner, Sam. Let me do this, and we're going to have some fun. This is VT Corner, everyone's favorite segment of College Football Monday. Virginia Tech beat Cal 42-34 in double overtime. It happened right in front of our face, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And the twists and turns of this game, it's hard to even know where to start. Tonight will be more like how we were feeling during the day, kind of a vibes-based reaction. We'll do a little bit more of the stats stuff. Of course, there will be some stats tonight, but so much happened during the day. So much happened in the game, the sights, the sounds, the feels of Friday night. We got to see so many people. I got to tailgate with your wonderful family, which was awesome. They put on a great tailgate for us. And it was the most gorgeous fall day we could have ever asked for in Blacksburg.
Like chef's kiss, the quintessential, if God's not a Hokie, then why did the leaves turn orange and maroon every football season? Absolutely stunning by Southwest Virginia. Came to play.
And G-Fed, who does the videos of like 100 stadiums in 100 days, he was at Virginia Tech for this game. He said something similar, like the colors of our uniforms and like gear with the leaves in the background, it just like it all kind of
It's
just
so perfect. It's
meshes
so
so well. So
perfect.
that was cool that he
Mhm.
was there. Warren Sharp was there too in this stadium,
I have
apparently.
no
Like
idea why Warren Sharp was there, but shout out to him. He's a great
he
follow on Twitter.
he's a big NFL follow if you guys aren't aware who Warren Sharp is.
Mhm.
And then all the CFB people like David Hale, Brett McMurphy, they seemingly were watching. Like a lot of people that are involved in our what we love the most, college football, were watching this game, into the game, commenting on it, tweeting about us. Hank from Barstool was in town and drinking rails. Like
Yeah, a few of them. Yeah.
yeah, so it was cool. It seemed like it oddly had a ton of attention on it. As for the game itself, we'll talk a little bit more about our experience as we go, but the game got off to a great start for the Hokies. We had the early sack by Copeland. We took a 7-point lead on a nice first drive, the touchdown to Aiden Green. We added the field goal. We're up 10-0, but then Cal ripped off 20 unanswered points, like JKS, Raphael, bad tackling by us. And it was 20-10 at the half. Our offense disappeared. We had a punt block, just bad, bad, bad. Like it just, nothing went right. We said goodbye to your parents and sister, and we're like, we're going to
Mhm,
walk over to the other
mhm,
side of the stadium. We're going to meet the boys. Maybe
mhm,
we'll change the juju, whatever.
mhm.
We got a field goal to start the third quarter. We get the strike to Heath for the tying touchdown. That was a 44-yarder. We stopped them again. Defense was playing so well, and we were driving, and Drones throws that pick in the end zone. And that was like, oh, another like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. We that was when Cal started to mess with the ball. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Cal started to mess with the ball. They were having snapping issues, and
Mhm.
that kind of helped us out a little bit. Jerome scores to make it 27-20. And that's when you really start to see like that on that drive, like we were just like running through an MFer's face. Like that
Yeah.
was an awesome drive. Cal drives back down the field. We hold them on third down. And that's when we made that awesome hit, Sam. Do you know the one I'm referring to? Where like we literally plant JKS's ass directly into the turf on a clean sack and they throw the penalty. And we were both apoplectic.
That was like, I'm going to do some research on roughing the passer for Wednesday's show. So stay tuned for that. I think it is a disgrace to the sport what they've done with their roughing the passer rules and how they have allowed officials to seemingly determine games by giving them carte blanche on 15-yard penalties.
It's like, that one looked too hard. So we're going to call it roughing the passer.
And it doesn't even apply to any rule. It's just, it's not reviewable. And if the ref decides they want to do it, there's no checks or balance for that. If
No.
the head official throws that flag, and look, Tim Hedgepeth has been a thorn in the ACC side for years. It is not just this
He's a
game.
joke.
It has been a long time.
He's a disgrace.
Him throwing that flag is the least surprising thing of his career, his sorry, pitiful little refereeing career. And they tried. The refs really, really tried at the end of this game, and it didn't work for them. I give shout out to the replay officials in Charlotte for, not bowing down to the BS targeting calls they tried to call. And I think it is just one of those games where the officials tried to input themselves into the game, a great game, a well-played game by both teams. And I think justice is served that it didn't happen. And I think it's a really good job by Virginia Tech to keep going after it and use it as motivation, because if anything, the team kept playing harder because of it. And
it's so true, man, because after that roughing, like they scored on the next play. And that is devastating. In the stands, me and you were like crushed over that, pissed, but crushed. And it's like, that could just demoralize the team, but it didn't. And we had a potentially winning kick go off the upright shortly thereafter. Then it's Cal's turn. They get the huge passing play, more penalties, and they get a chance to kick a field goal as time is expiring. Wide right with the view of like the shirtless boys in the stands, right? Like just gorgeous. We are going absolutely nuts in the stands. It goes to overtime. They score in one play. It's like, oh, great. But Drones drags a dude into the end zone for the tying score in overtime. And then he follows that up with the pass to Heath, which was not a good pass, but an incredible effort on the catch by Takai Heath to take the lead. Drones runs in the 2-point conversion. We got an 8-point lead, and we hold them. They had another negative play. That might have been another bad snap. I can't exactly remember in the second overtime. Incomplete to end the game. You're waiting for the flag. Like, you're just waiting for the final flag. We're all just like, no one even was ready to celebrate when it went over, because it's like, is there going to be flag? No flags. It's like, Hokies win. And it was such a euphoric feeling. Let's wait on the reaction from the stands. If just on the game itself, and we'll go to our reaction. You look at the totals, the numbers of this game. It shouldn't have been close.
No. I mean, Virginia Tech thoroughly outplayed Cal for the whole game. I think there was that one little spell in the second quarter where Virginia Tech special teams really hurt them, and special teams hurt Tech all night. Right? You had a punt blocked because there was just zero protection. Then you had another earlier in the game. You had another bad punt. There was a line drive punt that led to a big return to one of their best players, and Jacob DeJesus. Why you're punting to Jacob DeJesus, I'll never understand. But for some reason,
all night, man.
We're a very poorly coached special teams program right now. Very, very poorly coached.
Surprising.
I know, right? We've been calling for that for 2 years now. And then you have the missed field goal. And then you also have Cam Seldon catching the ball, toe tapping it Terrell Owens style, and falling out of bounds at the 1 yard line. Like, Virginia Tech had a lot of bad special teams plays. They had some bad tackling. Defensively, they got caught pre-snap. Like, Cal would have 3 wide receivers. They'd have trips to the field side, and Tech would only have 2 DBs over there. And they're just like, okay, we'll just throw it over there. That happened a lot in the second quarter, but they corrected that. And once they corrected it, the game wasn't close. I mean, it was a blowout after that. So it was that one, I would say, 10-minute period of the game, maybe more, right, between the end of the first quarter and about midway through the second quarter. Outside of that, Tech won probably 3/4 of the game.
Yeah. We outgained them by a ton. We only had 1 turnover. We were 50% on third down.
Yep.
Our yard per rush advantage was insane. But we just, it's so typical, man. I mean, we just made so many dumb mistakes. Yes, the refs were a huge problem, and the call on the roughing the passer was universally said that it was bullshit.
I've never seen a call so universally hated,
right?
By non-tech
So we all know that was a joke. He got up in the air and they brought him down. So I guess they thought it was like launching. Who the hell knows what they were thinking? Because it's a horrible call. And but yes, we still made what we did against Wake. Like, we made 1,000 mistakes. We dropped passes, multiple special teams screw up, the interception in the red zone, the block punt, the field goal off the upright. Like, it never ends, man. It never ends. And yet we played so well outside of those mistakes and the 10 penalties that were called that we managed to win the game in overtime. And considering the opponent, was this Kyron's best game maybe ever? I think it was the best game this year.
No, this year, yes.
Okay.
I think he's had some better games. I think throwing the ball, there's still just some, it's never going to click in some ways. Like, I think at one point to start the game, he was like 1 of 5 with 4 throwaways.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
that was a very good secondary. We knew
that's a good secondary. Yeah.
It's a very good secondary, and he was only 9 of 18 passing. But what he did on the ground, the 5 total touchdowns in the game, and keep in mind, one of his receiver did drop on the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, Takai Heath had to drop on what would have been like a 20-yard pass. It hit him in the chest, and then another pass that was dropped in the end zone that should have been a touchdown. So, well, I think he had a very good game. I think when he gets in a rhythm running the ball, it completely changes who he is as a quarterback. Like, completely changes it. And we talked about this with Monty beginning of the season. Like, What kind of offense are we going to get? Are we going to get air raid? Are we going to get ground and pound? What are they going to do? And I think in some ways we've kind of seen neither. Like they haven't really figured it out. And it does feel like in the second half of the game, they finally figured out what works.
Yep.
Now, Cal is a bad tackling team. We talked about that in our game preview. Like they have not tackled well, especially their defensive backs don't really tackle well. Tech finally found that mismatch and used it. And I'm really freaking glad they did because it won them the game.
Yeah, Monty and the offense at the end of the game more or less did what we wanted. It was 18 passes and it was how many rushes? Like 40 some?
Yeah, I didn't close. Yeah,
I had to look it up, but we had 357 total rush yards, 167 for Hawkins, 137 on the ground for Drone, 6.2 yards per carry as a team. No negative attempts for Hawkins or Stewart. Now, there was a close one in the end zone for Stewart that looked like he was going to get brought down for a safety. No dice. You know why? Because all that man does is break tackles.
That's all he does.
But not a single negative attempt for the two running backs. And just unbelievable production in the run game. Virginia Tech even put out the tweet today that was like, "We heard you," and it was like, "Run the ball," something like that. Did you see that?
It was awesome. I think Marcellus Hawkins having a game like that was just so refreshing because if Tech would have just had another like Terrion Stewart runs through an MFers face game like they did against NC State, I would have felt like, okay, this team really isn't that good, but they just have one player who's really, really good.
Yeah.
For it to be another player, because like, oh shoot, like this team does have some guys on offense. Like Aiden Green had a nice touchdown catch. We didn't really see much of any other wide receiver because they throw the ball a lot, but to have some other guys do some things was really, really cool to see. And yeah, he's putting the ball in the end zone. This team isn't scoring a lot of points, but he's doing it. We're not going to do that, Brendan.
Someone said for a good time, look at Josh Allen's college career stats and compare them to Kyron's. I mean, look, Josh Allen was very inaccurate in college. It was talked about a lot leading up to that draft. And it was like, can he make this throw? But look what every throw that Josh Allen can make. I don't know if Kyron can make those throws.
I don't think so.
But that's beside.
But I will say he has so many tools. You have to just catch him on a good day. And like if Tech gets a good day against Louisville, if it's a good Kyron day against Louisville,
I mean,
who the heck knows how that
it can swing the game. But like if Kyron goes for 130, we're probably winning the game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when he's doing that, it means it's opening it up for the other two backs. And if Terrion's continuing to get healthier, like Terrion went for 174 earlier in the season. We have 167 from Hawkins. That's ridiculous to have two guys on the same team that are capable of that.
Yeah.
In conference games.
Another thing with Kyron, Tech had 7.67 yards per drop back in this game. So that includes like incomplete passes being a 0. So when they did throw the ball, they got some chunk plays out of it. They had 4 explosive plays while passing in this game. So they were throwing the ball downfield and getting a few more explosive plays in this game than we normally have seen. We've seen a lot of the quick, like scripted play stuff has been a lot of his completion so far this year. Had a little few more stuff downfield. Throw to Aiden Green was really good because you have one-on-one coverage, throw it up to your guy. It's worked pretty well for Tech this season.
The heart that Kyron showed was really nice to see in the face of there was adversity. Like there was tons of adversity. 55 total rushing attempts was the total. Yeah, I should have had that number in front of me. Thank you, Jason. That's a lot of rushing. When you run the ball 55 times or over 50 plus, I think Tech has like an insane record because it usually means you're winning by a lot. But in this case, it just meant we were performing well in the run game. Defensively, Rafael and De Jesus were a problem for us. Ulave, that dude's a stud. He was a problem. But that I'm talking about their defense at that point. But on our defense, they really played an outstanding game overall. If it weren't for the referees, like we probably would have dominated. I mean, there were some holes, and you mentioned some of the matchup stuff, but Copeland, Gilliam, Heisman, those guys were
all
sensational.
Three had amazing games. Yeah. I mean, Copeland was playing edge rusher in overtime. Right. And I really thought it was good by Sam Seifkas playing that like 3-4, 3-3-5 defense, I do think gave Sangapolatelli some issues. And Copeland was just, they had to double team him every single play towards the end of the game. That opened it up for Heisman and other guys and Ben Bell and stuff to go out and make plays. I think they got beat pre-snap a few times. I mean, we were looking at it, screaming at the field, hey, they have 3 guys in Cal uniforms and we got 2 guys in Virginia Tech uniforms. That seems like a problem. Too many of those, but overall, like that's a good quarterback. They have some playmakers on offense. Tech did a good job in this game, considering the field position too. I mean, Cal's average starting field position was their own 47.
We
had averaged starting on midfield.
Yeah.
So only giving up, what did you give up? Only giving up 27 points in regulation when their average starting field position was midfield. You take that.
I have a lot more respect for Sangapolatelli than I did before the game. Like I saw what he had been doing lately, and he was struggling. That kid's tough, man, because we were putting his ass down, and he was getting up. He's bigger than I thought he was. Like looking at him from field level, like he's real big. And man, he's gonna go out and beat UVA next week. I'm pretty confident of that. As long as he can walk.
He's a legitimate like 4 or 5 star quarterback recruit.
Yeah.
And he was looks the part. I think he had us throw on like I don't know if it was exactly a slant route. Maybe it was just like an in route, but like he threaded the needle between 2 guys, threw it on a rope, and you were just like, whoa. Like that was a big boy throw.
Yeah.
He has some of that in his game. His wide receivers didn't help him out much in this game, but I also think he has a little bit of that freshman quarterback who probably threw to a lot of wide open wide receivers to his game, where he kind of floats the ball a little bit and like expects his guys to just run under it. And then all of a sudden a DB comes and gets in the way or gets a hand in their face, something like that I think he has to get a little bit better at. But you can see the tools, man. He's athletic. He's got a big arm, quick release, does a lot of good things for you.
The stands, our experience in that second half as fans, taking in the ending in the first row, second row, we had taken over some seats because, like we said, a lot of people did leave. Because as we walked over around, so we passed a sea of people walking out, just an ocean of people walking out the door. Now, you look at it on television, there were still a lot of fans there, but like at the end of the game, Sam, what are you talking, like a third full?
Maybe. I mean, East stands was still pretty full.
But the seat backs also make it look a little bit more full than
people will say like, oh, you guys stay for the whole game, stay for like it was cold. Tech literally gave up 20 straight points to end the half, and they looked like they'd quit.
You're talking about the students specifically right now.
I mean, everybody. Okay. Like this team looked like they had quit.
They did. And they did. Yeah.
And I don't blame, after the season they've had and how that game was going, I don't necessarily blame people for saying like, I'll catch the second half, at Hokie House.
And if you're a student, because GFed put out the tweet, like, I've never seen a student section get decimated this bad. And that's unfortunate. But like the students that are there now have seen virtually nothing good. Like they've seen nothing good. They've seen us get smoked by Vanderbilt in the second half, smoked by ODU. Like they see, and that first half, the end, when they rip off 20 unanswered points, Cal does. What does that inspire to a student that's trying to have some fun on a Friday night? So like, I'm not going to defend leaving the game early. Everyone is raised differently in terms of games. Like my dad never wanted to leave a game early. Like, Philly's going to be getting pounded. We're going to stay till the end and sit in traffic. Not every family's like that. Not every kid subscribes to that at a college game where they have a very loose affiliation to the team in their freshman year. But if the team actually plays better, you're not going to have that happen. Like we're 2-5 going into that game. Like, what do you want? But for the fans that did stay, the shirtless mob in the north end zone, that to me really made up for it, because the fans that were there were the diehards, dude. They were Tech till we die, as have recently put on a t-shirt. And that's what kind of made it special. And to be with the crew we were with on more or less field level, it was awesome, dude. And David Hale praised the fans. Like, he said the ones that stayed, like, it was a beautiful thing. They were fantastic all night. And as I said at the end of our recap, it really was a euphoric feeling, which can seem a little silly with with just beating Cal.
I
Like,
mean,
what how did you feel in terms of that kind of meta part?
I mean, Billy Ray was with us. He was like, I want to win this game more than anything on earth. Like, I want this game so bad. And I've kind of felt the same way, because what I had heard from people who have been to games and me being into games this year and last year, whatever, it kind of sucks when you have the beautiful weather, the great tailgate, you're with all your friends, you're having a great day, and then the team goes out and like lays an egg. And that's happened way too many times the past 4 or 5 years, like since COVID, pretty much.
Yep.
Like, it does feel like since that UNC game to come back from COVID, we've had so many of those. Yeah, it was a great day, but the Hokies lost. And it's like,
There's always a yeah, but.
yeah, to finally get one and like to see the team have that a double-digit comeback in the second half and a win in double overtime, it did feel very euphoric. It felt very, very cathartic, and it felt very like, I wouldn't say like a turning point, but almost like a validation for a lot of fans.
And as for like who we beat, first of all, Cal was 5-2. I know it's a little bit of a fake 5-2, but very much more than a 500 team. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are sometimes, though. They could have been anybody. Like, they could have had a losing record. But if you're coming back from 10 points down and you go to double overtime and the tension is so high for 30 minutes plus, because the end of regulation felt like overtime with the freaking field goals, you want to win. And when it seems unlikely, it makes it so much better, so much more sweet. And it did seem unlikely with the way the season has gone for us, especially after the roughing call, especially after the field goal. But they did it. And Friday night is why we all drive all the way down there over and over for a night and an outcome like that. That's why we go to the games, man. Like, for exactly that. For our buddies jumping all over each other every time something good happens, spilling beer, screaming till our throats hurt, which I know that was the case. Like, my throat was throbbing on the drive home.
When I got back to the hotel, I like was struggling to breathe, and my lips are still chapped. Like, I'm still getting over this. But I will say this, like, I hope this serves as an example of like, to not only the team but the fans, everything, of like why you don't give up in a game and like why you keep going, because we had praised this program for so long of like, they don't quit. Like, these guys don't quit. And then we saw it this year. And that was really demoralizing. Like, it was tough for us to come on here and talk about a team who we know mentally and physically checked out mid-game. Like, that was tough. And to see them say like, oh, if we don't do that, this is what can happen. Really, really refreshing. Fires me up. I'm excited about it. Like, now I'm excited to go play a top 20 team in Louisville next week.
Yeah. And the multiple enter Sandmans at the end where we're like jumping and kind of like the moment is building. It was similar to the Miami game in 2011, right? Even though it was a lot less people in the stands, like, that's what it felt like. That extra enter Sandman, like the people getting pumped up, the tenseness of the situation. And then you get the moments where the silliness and the community of all the dumb stuff we were doing in the stands and loving on each other. It's like, that is priceless. It is absolutely priceless. And I am so grateful for like the fellowship of what Sons of Saturday has brought me in my life. And Friday was the epitome of that. We had so many buddies in town from all different places all over the country that didn't know each other a few years back. And we're there watching this game with a great crew. And it was a night I'm going to remember for a really long time, if not forever.
Oh, it's up there.
It was special, dude. It was really special. So shout out to everyone who was there, and shout out to the listeners, Chris and Paul, who came out to Sharkies, and my longtime listener friends, the Berlins, who watched the end of the game with us. And it was great because we've seen each other at a million games, and there might have been a win or two in there, but we've lost a lot of games when we've seen each other. And so we're at the game. We're like, we did it. We finally won a game where we saw each other. There were so many little things like that just made it better, man.
Can't wait to talk about it again on Wednesday, Pete.
Yeah, we'll save the rest of some post-game stuff for Wednesday and go into deeper of what we saw on the stat sheet and what Louisville has to offer, because that is going to be an interesting game. Let me take this time to say that College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. Pat had a Jack and Coke with him in the stands. Maybe an illegal entry, but boy, oh boy, did it come in handy at the end of that big win. The #1 cocktail in the world is now available in a can. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and Coca-Cola, or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. You can also get Jack and Vanilla. You can get Jack and Cherry. And you can even get the variety pack where you get the original, the cherry, and the vanilla all in one box. It really is a great product. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke, ready to drink. And when you're drinking those Jack and Cokes at the tailgate, in the stadium, at home on the couch, remember to please drink responsibly. Whew, that was fun, Sam.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, I like that segment. Let me see if I can get this back on the screen. Here we go. And get to some more of these comments. This is from Bill Carson. The Gamecocks played a great game, but they lost. And that's true. There was not that euphoric feeling in South Carolina on Saturday night. And that is what we're going to talk about next, actually, because that is our first top 5 game. Bama survives. They hand Shane another crushing defeat, 29-22. This kind of seemed like the typical Bama crock-potting in the beginning, right? Like that was until South Carolina took a lead in the late third quarter, 15-14. Then they extended it to 22-14. Bama responds with a 14-play, 79-yard drive. They scored on the pass to Bernard. They get the 2-point conversion. It's tied, 22-all. Then came the critical Sellers fumble. And I was watching with my family. We're ready to go out for my sister's birthday. And we're all rooting against Bama, obviously, for no good reason other than the fact that it's Bama. And that was just crushing for South Carolina, man. It's been such a tough season for Sellers, and he had played pretty well up to that point. They outgained Bama in the game. But after that happened, like, they scored, and it was over.
Yeah, it's hard to beat good teams when you can't score 27 plus points in modern football. Like, even on off nights, in which Alabama had one, you're going to find a way for these best teams to score 28, 30 points. They're just going to find a way to do it. There's too many athletes in the field. The offensive systems are too good. Right now, South Carolina can't score, and I thought their defense played a pretty good game.
They did. They had Simpson, like, they gave him some issues in this one.
Yeah, they did. And you see, like, and you saw it against Virginia Tech. You saw it for a little bit there defensively against Oklahoma. Like, they have dudes. Like, they have size and speed, and they look the part of a good SEC team. They just don't put points on the board. And your defense can't last forever. I mean, I don't know what they do to make a bowl this season.
I mean, they're not making a bowl.
I don't know what they do going forward. Like the Sellers come back. What do you get at offensive coordinator? What do you get in the wide receiver room? Because, like, Nick Harbor, really big, really fast, not that good at catching footballs. I don't know where, like, offensively, I don't know where this team goes.
You know what? They're having, like, a better top end version of what we went through the last 2 years. Like, we had a nice little 2023. We're going into 2024 with expectations. Now, we weren't ranked like they were. I'm saying, like, and they were 9-3 and we were 7-6. But the idea was the same. You have this team coming in with expectations. It's leading kind of to this crescendo of the coach's tenure, and it just falls on its face. And we didn't really know where Tech was going to go from there after the season last year. And that's the kind of stuff South Carolina is going to struggle with. Like, do they replace both coordinators? Do they fire the head coach? Like, all these things have to be determined. And it's tough because this could have been a really nice, like, okay, we still got it. Like, there's still something here with this team. We can still go out and beat Alabama, who is probably the best team in the conference. And they got 2 more tough games now the next 2 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen with Shane. We've talked about that enough already this year. It's got to be tough. Bill seems like he's a South Carolina fan. If we fire Beamer, then you will get him. That sounds like a punishment. Sounds like a punishment, Bill.
It does feel like they're squandering a good amount of talent here.
Yeah, it does.
And I think there are some significant issues that were like Lenora Sellers went nuclear the second half of last year. Outside of those 6 games last year, he has a lot more games where he looks very pedestrian as a quarterback.
You know who went nuclear at the end of 2023? Our quarterback. Like there's a lot of parallels there. Maybe not the same level of nuclear.
Yeah, and I think they really like Shane Beamer. I think Shane Beamer's in a really good spot there. And I think like if they stick with him and he gets a coordinator hire right and he keeps recruiting how he's recruiting and they're keep competitive in the transfer portal, like they'll have good years like they had last year. They'll have them probably every other year. Like that's what I could see for this team. But man, I just don't know where like there's a whole side of the football where it's like you're going to start from like step 0.
Well, if you keep Sellers, it won't be step 0 at least.
I mean, but again, like
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, let's move on and use this as a transition. When did VT stop being the Gobblers? I want to say mid 70s, early 70s.
I think they should go back to it. I love it. I want more Gobblers.
You want to get rid of the Hokies or just use the Gobblers
more Gobblers. Like, you know how the Browns are like, they're the Browns, but fans call them the Brownies, and you got the dog pound, the logo's a dog, the mascot's a dog. Like, you know, that's what I'm kind of looking for.
All right. We are going to move to Ole Miss winning in Norman.
That's a good point.
Put Gobblers back on the scoreboard is what we got from Max and Cheese.
Yeah.
I like the Gobblers. All right, moving on. Ole Miss wins at Norman 34-26. They take down Oklahoma. Lane was not distracted by the Florida rumors. Very, very much not, which I thought that's one of the reasons I took Oklahoma to win and cover is because I was like, oh, there might be a little. No, he was ready. Ole Miss was firing on all cylinders early, 10-3 before OU tied it up with a 76-yarder to Santanga. There was a safety and a field goal. It was 15-10. A TD made it 22-10. And honestly, like you're watching Oklahoma play offense. 22-10 seemed insurmountable, but they did come back and grab a 26-25 lead heading into the fourth. And the OU defense did their part. They had 14 tackles for loss in this game, but Mateer was kind of bad. Like and I know he's dealing with that injury, but he needs to be able. They need him to be more.
Preseason, I said that I forget the quarterback I was actually saying this about. Maybe it was who was it that came from maybe it was when we were talking about Mensah and Morris coming from the Americans to the ACC, but like 95% of the really good mid-major G6, whatever you want to call it, quarterbacks who come up to the power conference level aren't very good.
Yep.
Like it's a vast majority of them. John Mateer, welcome to the club, because it does kind of look like it's the same exact player, but instead of playing against, you know, San Jose State and Colorado State, he's playing Ole Miss and Auburn and Texas, and it's not going super great.
Yeah. Yeah. And Chambliss on the other side was awesome. Like Lane and that offense, they were just too good. Chambliss was great. He had 368 total, a touchdown, a 91 QBR. Lacey went for 78 rush yards and 2 touchdowns. And outside of that 5-minute stretch in the third quarter, the Rebels, they dominated this game. Like they were really like did you see the sparring back and forth with Venables saying like we were the better team? And then
that's we were the better team is like, dude, you're not at Oklahoma to like for moral victories. Like you're at one of the blue bloods of college football. If you don't have more points than the other team, it is a catastrophic failure.
And it wasn't a 1-point loss. I mean, they would have needed a touchdown and a 2-point at the end, and they couldn't score. So
Ole Miss had 12 explosive plays. 14% of their plays were explosive. That's crazy high.
Yeah,
that's crazy high.
Godfrey, I see your comments in the chat, and we did VT Corner early because of the big win. We'll get to those questions in a little bit. Thank you for asking them, though. We will get to
I have my answer when we get there.
Memphis. Oh, well, last thing on Ole Miss. They're a playoff team because they have a very manageable finish with the Egg Bowl. That's like outside of the Egg Bowl, that's like the toughest test left. And they could lose that game. It's a rivalry game, but like I still think they're a playoff team because they only have one loss right now, and they just beat Oklahoma in Norman. They've got the Tulane crush job on their resume.
Yeah, that's a
like they're in. Like I think they're in.
45-10 over Tulane's a pretty good resume point.
All right, Memphis makes an amazing comeback. Speaking of the G6, at home to take down USF 34-31. This game ended up being crazy, but it looked like USF was going to roll to an easy victory early on. It was 21-7. It was 24-14 at the half, USF, and then 31-17 at the end of the third. All USF had to do was maintain a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. Well, Memphis ripped off 17 straight points. They take a lead. USF actually has a chance at the end. They drive down. It's a really good job by Byron Brown, who I think I called Braxton on the last podcast, so I apologize for that. It's Byron Brown, Braxton, who knows what, but he takes them down. He had a great game. Takes them down. They get a holding call in like pretty good into field goal range, and it backs it up. It takes it from a 42-yard field goal to a 52-yard field goal, and Grammatica missed it from 52, and they don't tie the game, and they lose. And so Memphis, with the look-ahead spot that screwed them over at UAB, doesn't matter because now they got the best win out there. They beat this really good USF team, and it puts them in the driver's seat for the playoff, in my opinion. I had them at the beginning of the year. I texted Sam on Saturday. I'm like, we should have never taken Memphis out of our playoff.
I mean, to be fair,
they lost to UAB.
They lost to a terrible UAB team. And it's so college football. Like we should have seen this coming. We kind of did. That's why betting wise, we stayed away from this game. Yeah. But there were so many plays ran in this game. South Florida ran 96 plays and Memphis ran 92.
That's nuts. It was a long game. It was a really long game.
Excuse me. Yeah. Crazy. I mean, both teams with a near 50% success rate. Like, just an absurd football game.
The Bulls
Memphis is a really good team.
They are. And like USF was doing like sometimes I don't know how Memphis won this game. USF ran for 295 yards. They were getting 7.8 yards a carry. Was South Florida. They were 12 of 18 on third down. That's 66%. And they lost. It's like kind of unbelievable that they lost the game.
I mean, they had too many good drives that didn't end in 7 points. When I look back at this game, like,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That was the difference.
They had in the second quarter, they went for it on fourth and didn't get it. In the third quarter, they went for it on 4th and goal and they didn't get it. And then they had a missed field goal at the end of the game.
And
if you're giving up 30 points, it's tough. Like you do run out of when you drive down the field and you get no points and you take up that time and you use up those good plays that worked and you get no points, it's really hard to win because the game is only 60 minutes long.
Yep.
And we've seen it with Virginia Tech this year where it's like the Georgia Tech game. The first quarter was so bad, they just ran out of time in the game. They didn't have time to come back. This was an instance
and we
where
see it
South
from
Florida
the aspect of I'm sorry, Sam, the prevalence of going for it on 4th down these days. It leads to some of these like weird box scores because teams will drive all the way down and they go for it on 4th and 1 and they don't get it at the goal line. And then like it screws up the yardage and everything. And it's like kind of hard to process from the box score. You really have to watch the games and look deep into it to figure it out. But like, great job by Memphis. Like I said, they got the win. It's all in front of them. Like they go out and they win the American. We're going to talk about the American a little bit later, but they're probably my favorite for the playoff right now. Vandy wins a defensive battle against Mizzou 17-10. Mizzou's defense going into the game, I was like, they're going to have a really good shot to shut down what Vanderbilt likes to do, the option looks that they give, and they predictably shut it down. Prabula got hurt for Missouri, so it kind of ended up being the same thing on the other side. The game started with 6 straight punts. I mean, it was really a defensive battle throughout. The third quarter was interception, turnover on downs, punt, missed field goal, and then Vandy finally scored to make it 10-3. Mizzou responded with a 12-play touchdown drive, 10-10, and a couple drives later, Mizzou had a fumble. Yeah. Then Vandy scored a TD off of that, and that kind of led to the final moments of the game where Mizzou had a shot, and they threw it up, and they actually caught it. It was ruled a catch on the 1-yard line, and brutal. It was a Hail Mary that was complete, but wasn't quite far enough.
Yeah, I mean, Missouri's second half, had the ball 1st and goal, no points. Had the ball 1st and 10 from the 12, no points. Had the ball at midfield, no points, and you end up losing the game. We were correct in saying that we thought Mizzou's defense would shut down Vanderbilt's offense. They did. I mean, Vandy had like one big play this whole game. Pavia was not good, just flat out not good. But that's what happens, man. I mean, when you have those empty drives, it's really, really hard to win football games. And yeah, it was weird because I felt like Missouri clearly outplayed them the entire game and just couldn't get points on the board.
Yeah, Bill says Vandy is going to the playoffs. Cinderella on steroids. We're going to do a little bit more on that.
So.
Yeah.
They're just finding ways.
Well, they got Texas next. Then they got Auburn. Then they got Kentucky. And then they go to Rocky Top for the finale. So there's 2. You see what I'm doing here? There's 2 really tough games left on that schedule. And maybe the tougher one is next. I don't know. Texas, they keep escaping, and I know they don't seem good, but like, Vandy's running a gauntlet right now. They really are, and I give them a lot of credit for winning this game. You kind of said like Vandy was lucky to win that game. Like,
no, I think I wouldn't say lucky. I would say both teams played poorly. I think Missouri played better though, but they still played a bad game. And I don't think you can expect in college football, like just playing better than your opponent doesn't always equal a win.
Also, like Vandy needed their quarterback to go out to like really win.
Yeah, that was a nasty injury. That sucks.
And that's going to hurt Mizzou for the rest of the year. I mean, Mizzou's not making a playoff at this point. Like they got more tough games, and they're going to be like, don't they have another quarterback that's hurt? So this is like a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, it's a true freshman.
Yeah. So, I mean, and he was actually decent. Like he did some okay things.
Yeah. I thought like the last drive of the game, he had some good throws. And then he also had some throws where they were like 10 yards out of bounds. And you're like, dude, you can't do that in this situation. Like you can't just throw the ball away. But
all right, last game we're going to talk about.
I agree, Max and Cheese. I thought there was some bad football this weekend.
There was.
Yeah.
BYU erupts in the second half, beats Iowa State 41-27. I really liked Iowa State in this spot. BYU coming off the Holy War, they were primed for a loss, in my opinion. And it looked that way in the first half. Iowa State was playing hard. Cyclones were up 24-17. But in the second half, they could only muster a field goal, and Bear Bachmeier did his thing. They added the pick 6 at the end to BYU to kind of make the score look a bit worse. But again, I got to stop picking against Bear Bachmeier, I guess. Now, here's the thing about saying that. Like every time you say that, it might swing the other way. And BYU has a tough one coming up next. But Bear had nearly 360 total yards, 3 touchdowns. Kingston and Roberts, the receivers, went for 133 and 128 respectively. And I know Iowa State's got a banged up secondary, but that's really impressive from a freshman quarterback who we know can run and wears number
tough place to
47.
play. Ames is a tough place to play.
Tough place to play, tough spot in the season. And BYU, they're just damn good, dude. They're just a good football team. Now, they got outgained. You could look at the box score of this and say Iowa State should have won the game, but I don't know. And now I don't know what to do with BYU for the playoff. Like in terms of predicting them out. Like it's tough.
Let me look at their schedule again because I know we talked about it last season. They play.
I got the tough ones here.
next?
They have to go to Texas Tech next.
Okay, they have a bye week and then they go to Texas Tech.
2 weeks they go to Texas Tech, and then they have to go to Cincinnati later. And I think TCU's on there still.
Dude, they could lose all those games. They could lose all 3 of those games.
I mean, it's a Big 12, of course, but I really thought this was the loss. I really, really did.
Yeah, I mean, I give them a lot of credit. Like, they're a team this year who every single game they don't let up. Even if they're playing poorly, like they keep going. They keep doing what they're doing. They keep playing their game. Defensively, they have a lot of playmakers. I think they gave Rocco Becht a lot of the issues he had in this game. Like BYU has linebackers that are really big and really rangy, and that's always tough for a quarterback. BYU's offensive line really well in pass pro in this game. I thought Iowa State had Orange back, who's one of their better defensive tackles, had him back for this game. He was supposed to not play. He ended up being able to play. They kept him from creating too much havoc in this game. Yeah, it works out. BYU's defense does a great job of just making the game really fast and really uncomfortable for the opposing quarterback. They had 19% havoc rate in this game, which is when a defensive play ends in a tackle for loss, a turnover, or a pass defended. That's really, really good. 19% is very, very high. That's kind of what leads to some of these games where I thought Iowa State, got off to a great start. What they score, first 3 drives, they had 17 points. But you look at the second half for Iowa State, it went punt, field goal, pick 6, turnover on downs, interception.
The one thing where, and this isn't a counter because the BYU defense they had 4 sacks and they had 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers is a lot. Like that's a little bit excessive in terms of like Iowa State put up like 495 yards of offense or something, didn't they? Like they put up a ton of yards. Yeah. And so was there a little bit of turnover luck on BYU's side?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
And eventually that kind of stuff has to run out. But
there's
BYU
also a punt too.
Yes, they play a clean game. BYU plays a clean game, and that Texas Tech game is fascinating, really fascinating. And let me put this up here because I thought this was interesting. So do you think Vandy loses to Texas but beats Tennessee?
It's possible. I mean, we need to see what Arch Manning is up to.
I think they could lose. Vandy could lose both. The difference, yeah, exactly. Manning's in concussion protocol. Mm-hmm. The Texas has looked crappy for the better part of the season. So yes, Vandy's a better football team, but Pavia is also a different quarterback on the road. Like he hasn't been as good on the road, and he just got 2 really tough games and tough wins at home, right? So I don't know. I think Vandy could lose both those games and be out of the playoff. I also think if Vandy loses one of those games and they're 10-2 up against a lot of other 10-2 teams, they're probably getting left out. But me and Sam will address that when we get to the playoff chatter. Mm-hmm. All right. College Football Monday is brought to you by Rhoback. You guys know Rhoback, the performance activewear, designed for those who crave activity. We just got 2 fresh new Rhobacks. I plan on wearing mine tomorrow night. It's the white Q-zip with the traditional VT logo on it. Sam got the hoodie, which is also white. I'm a little worried about getting it stained up, but for the limited time that it's not stained, it's going to look very fresh.
We need you in like a massive lobster bib every time you read it.
But you can use code 2DEEPVT, all one word, to get 20% off your first order from Rhoback. And if you've already used that with an email, use a different email, use your work email, use your spouse's email, get it done. They've got great women's stuff. They got great polos. The hoodies are so comfortable, shorts, joggers, everything. Also, Compass Coffee, great coffee company right in DC, Northern Virginia. You can get 20% off there using code 2DVT. However, if you don't live there, go to their website, load up your cart, and send that stuff to your house because they'll ship it right to you. The coffee is top notch. They got tons of flavors. The holiday blend is either out or coming out very soon. Look for that code 2DVT at Compass Coffee on their app and compasscoffee.com. Some other interesting games and results, Sam. Washington took down Illinois at home. I should say in Seattle, 42-25 with a big final 32 minutes. They scored right at the end of the first half, and then they blew them out like in the third quarter. They moved to 6-2. Really nice win because Illinois, they're a good team. Like that's a really good team. And Washington, after a tough week last week, crushed them. And so they're looking pretty solid. Indiana smokes UCLA. That game was over in 3 minutes.
The
56
pictures of Signetti looking so angry, up 43 points in that game. It's just incredible. And I'll say this about Washington. I cannot wait to bet them to make the playoff next year. I cannot wait to bet Jamal Williams Heisman. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Oregon was less than impressive versus Wisconsin in horrible weather. 21-7 was the score there. Michigan handled Michigan State 31-20. Houston got up. I think it was 24-0.
They were up 24-0 on the Sun Devils in the desert.
And Sims had to come in for Levitt.
Yeah, Levitt got beat up.
Houston held on. They win. They're 7-1. The Houston Cougs. My Houston Cougs. I said they were live, baby. They were live.
They can sneak past you. Like, they don't look good, but they're winning football games. Also with Arizona State. Our fear with Arizona State coming into this game was what happens when they can't run the give the ball to Cam Scatterboo and let him score a touchdown play?
Rip Cam Scatterboo, by the way.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. But
he just had surgery at Penn. My wife's been all over it. She's been like fascinated by the whole thing. She's like, he was at Penn. He was getting a surgery. I was like, yeah, well, he got injured here.
I mean, what looks worse right now, Cam Scatterboo's x-rays or the Arizona State offense? Because it is bad. It has been bad all year. And I don't think it's getting better because poor Sam Levitt is like dying out there.
Yeah.
He's getting robbed.
And Tyson didn't play.
Jordan Tyson has a soft tissue injury that is not getting better. It doesn't look good for the Sun Devils right now.
And finally, Cincinnati whipped Baylor to move to 7-1. Those Bearcats, man.
Oh my gosh.
They got a big one. They got a real big one coming up.
Game day's going there.
What's that?
That's game day's
going
in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We're going to save the G6 for later. We're going to talk about them in our stock up and stock down segment. But the ACC, UVA beats UNC by 1 after UNC goes for 2 and the win and doesn't pull it off. Chandler Morris was terrible in this game. I know he's dealing with injuries, but he had a 15 QBR, Sam. 15 out of 100. The UNC defense had 6 sacks. The UNC offense outgained UVA by almost 100 yards. UVA only ran for 69 yards. The Heels went for 145 on the ground. Lopez looked serviceable, and God damn it, the UNC couldn't pull it off. Like,
can they stop fumbling in the end zone? Like, hold on to the ball, UNC.
Yeah,
hold on to the ball. I tweeted it out, and I think I'll probably save this for off season or something, but we need to change how we look at luck in sports, because usually luck is created by doing the little things correctly time and time again. What UVA is happening this season is beyond explanation. It is absurd. The way the ball is just bouncing their way every single time. There was an interception that took like 3 deflections and bounced right to their guy that day. It's unbelievable.
3 overtime wins kind of tells the story alone. Like,
yeah, 3 of their last 4 wins are overtime wins.
They've had a lot of luck in their favor, and it shows up in the SP Plus because they're 52 in SP Plus with 1 loss.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy for a power conference team to be in the 50s. Like they're behind UCF. They're behind Florida. They're behind Mississippi State. They're behind Maryland.
They
Like
had UVA averaged less than 20 yards per drive.
and they won. Now UNC is like we know they
UNC's
suck. I know they've like looked a little better the last 2 weeks. They suck. They are a bad team, and UVA needed overtime to win by 1. So,
Unbelievable.
listen, we are Tech fans. I get it, but the amount of luck that they've had is completely crazy. So we
I give credit.
Sound like sour grapes, but
I give credit to them for like let me look up this stat to make sure I have it correctly, but I do give them credit for creating some of their luck. Like I think the game against Florida State, they played with their hair on fire for 60 minutes and it led to them winning a game. But like they're not like they don't have a particularly high havoc percentage defensively. Actually, it's not very high at all. It's they're 96th in the country in havoc percentage. So like it's not like they're creating a bunch of like they're not sacking the quarterback and like creating pressures and do all this stuff. Like it's just every time it happens is a perfect scenario. And you have a game against like Louisville where it, gets you 2 defensive touchdowns. And you have a game here where it saves you a touchdown. Like it's like if every single turnover they've had this year has virtually been a pick six. Has virtually been a 7-point swing.
Would it surprise you at all if UVA lost their last 4 games?
Who do they got? Because they're
going to Cal.
I don't think you can buy toilet paper as soft as their schedule.
They're going to Cal next. Mm-hmm. Then they have
Wake at home,
Duke,
and then Duke,
and then us.
They could go 2-2 there.
They could go 0-4 there. That's what I'm asking.
They could go 4-0 there.
Well, that's the scariest.
I don't think they go 0-4. I don't think they go 0-4. I think Chandler Morris is a good quarterback. I think he has acclimated to this level of football very well. I think he had a bad game against Washington State. He had a bad game against UNC. Cal and Virginia Tech will be very tough because I think those are 2 teams that like have some dudes. Wake Forest, though, that game's a night game in Scott Stadium. Wake Forest's defense is playing really, really well.
They're good.
And if they have a game like they did against UNC, I don't know if they survive that again. Like, I don't think if they play like they did against Washington State and UNC, they will go 1-3 the next 4 games.
Oh, yeah.
So,
they're not playing well right now. And so we'll see what they do with the travel and going to Cal. Wake beats SMU. Talking about Wake, 13-12 on a last play field goal. This game was so sloppy. Jennings was terrible. He had 0 touchdowns. He had a 41 QBR, 8 turnovers combined for the 2 teams, 5 for Wake. Wake fumbled the ball 6 times in this game, Sam. 3 were lost. So not only 50%, but 6 fumbles, 5 turnovers, and they won against a team that hadn't lost in 20 straight conference regular season games. Like, of course, this is the game SMU loses. Of course, it's in Winston-Salem. It's great.
I mean, if it wasn't for Virginia, we'd be asking about Wake Forest. How do they keep getting away with this? Like Tech having a bunch of penalties on 3rd and long to extend drives, and
Wake, we should have beat Wake. And then you could also argue Wake should have beat GT.
I mean, I give credit because we thought Wake was going to win 3 games this year.
Yeah, no, Dickert's got that team, and that's not even his side of the ball. Like the defense is really good.
He's just a good football coach.
Yeah. And Purdy played most of this game. I don't know if Ashford got hurt or he just got benched.
I think he got hurt / benched. Like one of those situations.
Yeah, but good win by Wake. Mm-hmm. I was tired of the SMU thing anyway. GT crushed Syracuse. King had 5 touchdowns. They covered. Pitt stomped NC State 53-34. Heinzel went for 423 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that NC State defense is horrific, but good job by Heinzel. Pitt covers. Miami went down 7-0 And then they covered a 30-point spread against Stanford, winning 42-7. And Louisville beat BC 38-24 in a very much a who cares game. That's about all. Do you have any commentary on any of those games? You
No, I
good?
think we can move on.
All right. Best QBR of the weekend was Joey Aguilar of Tennessee. Matt Zollers, the backup quarterback for Mizzou, was actually second. Let's fly all the way down to number 10. Kyron Drones, 10th best QBR of
Hang
the week.
the banner. Let's go, boys.
I mean, I never
Wow.
thought I'd have him in this segment, but when I saw him that close, I was like, I got to get him in the best QBR of the weekend segment.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it, like when he runs the ball, he's a different football player.
And QBR values running quite a bit.
Mhm.
It does. Stock up, stock down team. Let's go. I'm going to go up. I'll do some power conference stuff because I know you want to do some G6 stuff here.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my stock up and stock down. I wanted to talk G6 so we can like flavor that conversation, stock up, stock down.
All right, let me do mine first then. Stock up, Wake. We just talked about them. Really nice win. Cincinnati, Houston, Washington, BYU, Pitt, and Iowa. Iowa crushed, dude. And I was all over that one. They smoked Minnesota. K-State, too. I mean, K-State all of a sudden, like this is a team you need to be looking out for. This is Texas Tech going to K-State this weekend, right? They're surging. K-State is surging.
Yeah, I do have the betting strategy of taking touchdown underdogs at home and seeing if I can cash out late in that game. I don't want to do it for this game, but it's worked pretty well this season. I might have to play the numbers and not the teams here.
Yeah. Stock down for me. UVA stock down. You can't win by one in that game like that. And really, you should have lost. But they
do
won.
They need to win the ACC to get a playoff bid?
If they're 11-1 in the ACC championship game, they're in the playoff.
Okay,
I think I do. Baylor stock down. That was bad performance. SMU stock down, bad performance. Arkansas, you blew it. Stock down. LSU clearly stock down. You fired your coach. And then my last stock down, I'll start off Sam. USF. They lost a critical game.
I'll talk about them. Like, is it over?
I don't think it's over.
Make the CFP with 2 losses?
Well, they could win. They could still win the American.
Oof. They could, yeah. Because the American standings are really interesting right now.
I know they're crazy.
And it is there are 4 teams at 3-1: Memphis, North Texas, South Florida, and Temple.
Temple would be 4-0 if it weren't for some terrible officiating in the Navy game. Like they had Navy dead to rights, but that's amazing that Temple's in that conversation.
Also allowing a 56-yard run with 30 seconds left. Probably not.
Yes, but
I agree with you.
There were some bad calls.
Temple much better than people think they are, but Navy is at 5-0, Tulane's at 3-0. But USF, like, they need to win out. They need to win convincingly. They need to win the American title game, which is going to be tough. And they need some help around them as well in the rest of the country. Like, it's a lot of things that need to happen for South Florida, although I do think they probably are they have the highest ceiling of any of the G6 teams right now. But stock down for USF. My next stock down is just for the Mountain West Conference in general. San Diego State's playing really well right now. Boise State's playing really well right now. Unfortunately, I don't know if any team in that conference has a good win.
Yeah.
Like there's just, I mean, when you have Hawaii looking at 6-2, San Diego State looking at like 6-1 or whatever. San Diego State has kept 5 different teams to 10 or less points this year.
They got another shutout this weekend.
They have 3 shutouts.
3 is crazy. 3 in a season is crazy.
But like,
and one of them was Cal, by the way.
Yes. Like San Diego State's a good team. They could go 12-1 and win the Mountain West and not have a shot to get it because there's no resume building there, unfortunately. And then my last one is UConn, the Huskies. I love the Huskies. Tough season for them right now. They're 5-3. All 3 losses are on the road in overtime.
Mm-mm-mm.
Pretty brutal. But the Huskies, they're a much better team than their record is. Unfortunately, they've just lost 3 close games on the road. My stock up, Memphis. No need to talk about it. They're the leaders in the packs right now. They need to win out. They have a tough schedule left, but the win against Arkansas still looks, it's still an SEC win. And this win against South Florida is very impressive and will do a lot in the minds of the College Football Playoff Committee. So good job by Memphis. Also, their advanced metrics look really good. They're number 16th in the country in adjusted EPA per play. So very good there for the Tigers. Tulane, sitting back, didn't do anything. That loss to Ole Miss looks super forgivable as Ole Miss looks very good.
Yes.
And here's Tulane. They're undefeated in conference. They're playing well. They're well rested. The Tulane Green Wave, I think they have their worst performances behind them. And also that win against Northwestern, not too shabby. That win against Duke, not too shabby. Tulane looking good. And then my third one, the James Madison Dukes, another bye-week W. They are just sitting here. They have one close loss at Louisville. Again, very forgivable. They are far and away the best team in the Sun Belt. Far and away. They are sitting 5th in the country in adjusted EPA per play. 5th. They are going to put up some crazy scores on people, right? They put up like 63 on ODU. They're going to do that again to somebody this season. They're going to win the Sun Belt. And this team could be 12-1. And there will be a discussion. It'll be JMU and somebody for that playoff spot.
Yeah, that would be wild. And that's the scenario where Bob Chesney moves into, the pecking order. Like he's moving up in terms of the Virginia Tech head coaching job, in my opinion, at that point. But pardon me.
Yeah,
Southern Miss.
Their schedule, JMU's schedule, Texas State on the road. That game's coming up quick here. Marshall, App State, Washington State, Coastal. They should win all of those games.
Southern Miss, sticking in the Sun Belt, they crushed Monroe. Troy beat Louisiana. They both moved to 4-0 in the Sun Belt. So you're talking about resume building. Like there's going to be a decent team that JMU has to beat in the championship game because this is one of the few that's still doing the divisions. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be the American winner or the Sun Belt winner at this point. And that Sun Belt winner, Southern Miss is a harder sell, even if they were to win out. Like it's kind of like it's JMU or the American winner. And Navy, I mean, it could be Navy, man. They're undefeated.
Navy's still kicking.
They've got a lot of tough games left, though. I think they play all 3 of the top teams down the stretch. You know what's crazy is the worst resume loss. I know that USF now has 2 and a head-to-head loss, but like the Memphis's loss is the worst one of any of like those G6 teams. Like losing that UAB game is like that's horrific. They were like 21-point favorites in that one.
Navy's remaining schedule before we move on: at North Texas, at Notre Dame, host South Florida, at Memphis. And then they have Army-Navy game, which doesn't count towards the American standings.
They're not getting through that unscathed.
Nope, they are not.
So it kind of depends on who ends up in that American championship game. But USF does seem like the best team. Like they do seem like the best G6 team.
Agreed.
And they did play that game in the Liberty Bowl, but like they have 2 losses now. So you're right. They probably are kind of screwed. All right, let's just do these VT corner questions from Godfrey real quick before we do playoff. Last week was asked about coach GM AD relationship based on how the coaches are at the center of the decision making. I would really like to see Bob Chesney as our coach. He brings a lot of.
I think it was continued on a next one, but I do think there is a argument here where if you bring in Bob Chesney, you don't have to pay as much in head coaching salary as you would Dan Mullen, John Summerall, Ryan Silverfield, etc. You can take that money to pay up for a high-end coordinator, both offensive and defensive. You can build out your recruiting staff a little bit more. You maybe pay a little more to get the GM that you want in the building. That is an argument to make. and I think it's a fair one. And I think if that's the road Virginia Tech goes down, it would be hard to fault them for doing it that way.
Yeah. This is the other one from Godfrey. If we were to beat one of our remaining opponents, who do you think we can upset? I think Florida State's the obvious choice.
Florida State's the obvious one. I tell you, like matchup wise, this
Are
weekend,
we counting the UVA game in this? Like, I don't think like that's separate to me because like it's a rivalry game. So of course, like that's the most likely upset.
I mean, I personally think matchup wise, Miami's going to be really tough.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be.
I think Louisville, like if Louisville comes to play, it's going to be tough. If Louisville messes around, I think Tech has some advantages in this game. Florida State, like we don't know which team is going to show up. Are they going to be? Is Florida State going to quit by then?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. And
they got Clemson next. Like Florida State's playing Clemson, and then they're playing us.
And UVA is generally like, if they keep playing with the horseshoe up their butt stuff, then that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
That'll happen. Like Tech will find a way to be on the end of like some weird play that goes in UVA's favor.
It is starting to feel though that like
if it starts to fall off, who knows?
It's starting to feel like we're going to ruin UVA's season. That's what I'm starting to feel.
I would rather you not say that because I have already convinced myself that we're going to lose that one.
Oh.
And so I'll take my expectations. I will shove them in the dirt. And then when something not as terrible as what I perceive might happen happens, then it will be a good day for me.
Yeah, that's probably a decent way to think.
I go to bed and I wake up and I do it again.
I never thought that on Friday. I mean, leading up to the Cal game, I felt confident. I felt like we were going to win. Irby picked against us on the money line. He picked Cal on the money line.
Love when he does that. He picked NC State on the money line too. Keep it up, Irby.
They called him a communist when we were on the Hill before the game. I did the same thing to Billy Ray because he was telling everyone to take Cal -4.5, -6, whatever. Fuck them all, man. I got confidence in this team. I got confidence in Montgomery. I think we can beat UVA.
The Calgorithm gave Billy Ray fan of the week. Congratulations.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
On what? Like on what service? On what?
Like, it doesn't matter, man. Noted
California
fan
of the week wherever it goes.
Billy Ray Mitchell. Congratulations.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. I did want to mention that I'm drinking the Focal Banger. I said I'm having a banger tonight. If people know the Alchemist out of Vermont, you are familiar with the Focal. I forget where I got this. Who gave this to me? Oh, it was my buddy Alex. Yes, Alex gave me one of these. Great beer. A lot of people say it's better than the Heady Topper. I disagree with that. But it is a very, very good beer. And it always tells you to drink from the can. I poured a little in the glass just because I'm still a glass guy. I kind of like do whatever I want. But then like I was like, you know what? I'll drink it out of the can because it literally says it all over the top. Drink from the can, like straight there.
There is a difference in how beers taste in the can and in the glass. That's not just being like hotty toddy. It is
I mean, and this real. If you've ever had it, you know this is your classic American IPA. Like it's not New England style, it's not West Coast, it's just like that bitter American IPA. It's got Citra and Mosaic hops, some British malts, a lot of hoppy flavor. Like if you're not a hophead, this isn't for you, but it's classy. You can see the hops coming out of this guy's ears. Their artwork is so cool. The Focal Banger. I mean, this can't come in short of a 4.25 for you. Nice. Like it wouldn't, you know, and that's probably where I'm putting it. I could even go 4.5 just because it's a classic. It's one of the originals, and like you have to factor that into your rating.
Nice. I did a flight at 3 Notched in Charlottesville after a hike on the way back home from Blacksburg. Great brewery, great spot. I took a beer review video. We'll have that up on the YouTube shortly. Got to do some sound editing. It was pretty loud in there, but 3 Notched, local Virginia beer, headquartered in Charlottesville. They have a few tasting rooms and stuff around. Excellent, excellent brewery.
Yeah, it's very good.
Stay tuned.
I like 3 Notched. What do you think? What is Brendan referring to here? Say it,
I
Pete.
think it was when you were like, I never thought we were going to
We
lose.
can
Beat
beat you.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, playoff picks. Let me get Sam's up here first because he had some substantial changes, as at least I thought.
Well, I said too, the winner of Mizzou Vandy would jump BYU no matter what BYU did. Right? I said
Oh,
that.
okay.
That's what happened. A&M stays the same. Bama stays in there. Georgia, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt. You won that game. You're in the playoff, buddies. Congratulations. Big Ten, it stays the same. Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. Those three teams are all very good. I think I'm not going to overreact to Oregon only winning by 14. Like Wisconsin's touchdown was scored on a horrifically underthrown ball, like Joe Flacco style. Dante Moore missed pretty much the whole second half of the game with a bloody nose. It was pouring down rain. I'm not going to worry about that. ACC stays the same. Georgia Tech and Miami. Miami, way to go covering the over in that game. That was legendary. Miami's a very good team. Georgia Tech, they keep winning. Good for them. Texas Tech, I think, is still the best team in the Big 12. BYU, you're undefeated. You probably deserve to be in here, but you got to keep winning. Texas Tech, Kansas State. If Texas Tech loses that game, it's going to be tough for them because it's going to be tough to have two Big 12 losses and make the Big 12 title game this year.
And a 10-2 Big 12 teams like going to have a
They're
really hard time getting in
Yeah.
at large. Yeah.
And then for the G5 Memphis, you won the game. You're in there for now. You got to win out, but it's all to play for Memphis. They control their own destiny. They win out. They are in the playoff.
Bill is wondering why Georgia Tech is in your playoff, Sam. They're undefeated, Bill.
They're undefeated. And they're better than every team that they play on the remainder.
They have a very manageable remaining schedule. They're undefeated. They play Georgia out of conference. So if things go to chalk, they're going to be in the ACC title game at 11-1. And at 11-1 with a win over Colorado and a win over Clemson, like they're getting in. Like they're just going to get in. And that's just how it is. Like at most, I feel like Georgia Tech has one loss. And that may curse them, but like at most, I feel like there'll be 11-1. They could be 12-0. And then so let me do mine. Let me get it up here. I have some different things than Sam. Most notably is what I got going on in the SEC and with Notre Dame. And this is what I'm going to be calling the Notre Dame problem when we get there. But in the SEC, I had OU in. And I even said, even if OU loses, they could make the playoff. I don't have Vandy in. I don't have OU in. I only have 4 SEC teams in. A&M, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. I didn't put Vandy in because with 2 road games left, and if they go 10-2, I don't know if they're beating out a Notre Dame for that final spot. I think that's you think about historic college football people picking between Notre Dame and Vandy at 10-2 when Notre Dame has a USC win on their resume. Like it's just
get old people in a hotel conference room. It's going to be tough to have them not come out Notre Dame fans.
And no one is beating Notre Dame's losses. Like you're just not. They have. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but they have two. Their 2 losses are two really good teams, like an undefeated A&M team. A&M's still clean slate, right? And then and Miami, who has the 1 loss, but is a very good team. And it was on the road for Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is in my playoff because I believe they're running the table and they're getting in because any old white-haired dude is going to pick Notre Dame to be in the playoff at 10-2. So for SEC, I got 2 from the ACC. And here's my reasoning why, Sam. Georgia Tech undefeated. They're going to be in the title game. I just said they're probably going to win 11 games. That means they're in. Miami has the win over Notre Dame. So you can't put Notre Dame in at 10-2 even if Miami goes to 10-2, which they very well could. They've got to go to Pittsburgh, who's playing a lot better. They've got a tough game against SMU this weekend. But say Miami finishes 10-2, they have a win over Notre Dame. That means the committee has to put, and this is what they've held to virtually every year we've had a playoff. Head-to-head matters if you have the same record. Mm-hmm. And so Miami will be in over Notre Dame. And I just think you're looking at Notre Dame versus a 5th SEC school. It's going to be tough if Notre Dame has 10-2 and that SEC school is 10-2.
There's a lot of big games left in the SEC, and there's a lot of room for Bama, Georgia, like Mississippi State's gonna get somebody eventually. Like they're gonna win one of these games. And I gotta tell you, like Oregon's got to go to Washington.
Yeah.
And Oregon still got to play USC.
I don't think Oregon's all that great. I really don't.
I mean, Oregon has the chance to show us they are very good. They also have the chance to show us that they're not very good. Like, a lot of these teams,
Oregon has
their
the
schedules
Iowa
in
game,
front of them.
don't they? Don't they go to Iowa?
Oregon goes at Iowa, at Washington,
dude.
UCLA, USC.
I mean, yes.
I think that's the end of it.
I have Oregon in my playoff now. I have Ohio State in. I have Indiana in. But there are 4 teams with 1 loss in the Big Ten, and Oregon's not the only one that could get in here. You know, USC could get in here. Michigan could get in here. Even Iowa could get in here if they ran the slate. But I'm a little concerned with Oregon. I said it a couple weeks back. Of course, they throttle Rutgers, but like that was a smash spot. I got a question from Ejaz in here. Pete, Texas Tech over BYU. Yes, I have Texas Tech in. So does Sam. Texas Tech hosts BYU on 11-8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech is going to win that game. I believe wholeheartedly Texas Tech is going to win that game. BYU, where are they going this weekend?
Cincinnati. No, BYU's going nowhere. They're off, right?
They're off, or are they going to Kansas State? Texas Tech's going to Kansas State.
Going to Kansas State. BYU is
they may be off.
They're off, or they're going to Cincinnati. They're off.
Cincinnati hosts them the following week.
No, they host TCU, and then they're on Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati.
On Cincinnati.
Yeah, so here's the thing, man. I just think Texas Tech's a better football team. That's plain and simple. I think they're going to get into the Big 12 title game, and whoever they play in the Big 12 title game, they're going to beat. And if that's the case, and I think it's a 1-bid league because they're going to eat each other up a little bit, I got to put Texas Tech in. That's really all it comes down to. I think they're the best team. I really love what BYU has done, and they're 8-0. If the season ended today, yeah, BYU would probably make the playoff. But season doesn't end today. And I think they have flaws. And I think they had 4 turnovers to none at Iowa State, and it really helped them win the game. And so, yes, I'm still going with Texas Tech. But BYU is looking great. And Cincinnati's undefeated in conference. Houston's at 4-1. I mean, there's a lot of crap that can still go down, man.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, and Sam, I still think the committee wants to put 5 SEC teams in there. I do,
think
like, especially if 5 of them end up at 10-2.
You're gonna need like Auburn to beat Bama, Tennessee to beat Vandy to lose to Texas. Like, you're gonna need a lot of cannibalization in the SEC, to get only 4 teams in there, because some of these teams, just like Bama's resume, even if Bama loses 2, their resume is insane.
I know they like, that's the team. Like, Bama's the team that can get in at 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the ACC standings on the screen, and the reason I pull this up is because the amount of teams with 1 loss or less in this conference right now is pretty nuts. Like, there's a lot of teams that could potentially make the ACC title game. The only ones I think that are for real are Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, and that's really it. I think those are the teams. Now, Pitt has a very interesting end of their season, and they could screw it up for a lot of teams, man. Like, they play Miami. They play. Don't they play GT? Do they play GT still? Let me see here.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Bad podcasting, Pete.
But I know. That's my bad.
Too many teams in this damn conference.
There really are.
Also hilarious. UNC's only scored 44 points in 3 conference games. That's hilarious.
That is
so bad.
Is pretty funny.
I mean, one thing that I really notice on here is like Georgia Tech's played 5 conference games and Miami's only played 3.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of football left to play here for a lot of these teams. So I think there's like, the way it looks right now, I think is just as much partly due to the schedule as it is how crazy this conference is right now.
So Pitt has Notre Dame next, then Georgia Tech, then Miami. So there's an outside chance they could beat Notre Dame. And then the whole Notre Dame problem is extinguished because that's probably the best team that Notre Dame's going to play left. And then at Georgia Tech, like, that's a freaking toss-up, man. Pitt, Georgia Tech, that's going to be a slobber knocker. And then Miami going to Pittsburgh in the cold. Like, you can make
Miami's
a case
got to go
Pitt,
to SMU this week. Like,
yeah, Miami's got to go to SMU. They got to go to Virginia Tech. Like, yes, right now, I think Miami is the best, most complete football team in the ACC. But hey, man, that doesn't mean anything. They could lose a couple of these games, and Pitt's gonna make, like, they're feisty right now, dude. They're really feisty right now. Credit to Ty Hildenbrand, who liked them preseason when he was talking to me and Billy. He's like, I really like the Pitt Panthers. They didn't look good with Eli Holstein. They look great with this new kid, and so we'll see how long that lasts. Of course, Louisville has a shot. SMU still has a shot, although I don't think they're that good of a football team this year. But anyway, that's enough about the ACC. I just wanted to kind of bring that up because it's all these conferences have similar scenarios like that, but the ACC, like, weird stuff could happen.
How many weeks are we away from looking up the tiebreaker rules in the ACC? 2 weeks away?
We're getting close. We're getting real close.
Like, there is a real, like, we could have a 4-way tie in the ACC. It's very, I would argue it's likely.
Let me see if I have this right. Pitt 4-1, 6-2. Yeah, they've played 8 games. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be a wild finish in a bunch of these different conferences, and it's going to affect our playoffs. And we'll pick them new every week. But you already saw it. So week 10 games. Let's close this out. Louisville at Virginia Tech. We are plus 10.5. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the line is probably right. I would probably take Tech in the points right now.
Yeah.
Well, again, with this Tech team, like, we got to see what the injury report looks like.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got an extra day's rest from playing on Friday.
That's nice. Yeah.
Vandy at Texas. Texas 1.5-point favorites. Man, Vandy's the better football team.
Yep, agreed.
But Texas could win the game. I would not bet this game. It's a very pivotal and important game because if Texas wins, they're now back in the playoff talk.
Texas has a very, very good run defense. Their run defense is very similar to Missouri's.
Yeah, they're going to give them problems for sure. Miami at SMU. SMU 12.5-point home dogs to Miami.
Sneaky game.
That's a weird line, dude. I think that's too many. I know SMU's not playing great, but, like, that's a lot of points, which leads me to, is this a Miami smash? Like,
it's kind of scary. And I also think this SMU offense is not close to where it was last year. And their defense, like, I just don't think this is a very good SMU team. But the spot is really spotty.
Spot is spotty.
The spot is spotty. It's spooky.
This is spooky.
Spooky game for Miami.
And you could just, like, you can end it for Miami basically here. I mean, like, I don't think.
I think so.
I know they can get in at 10-2, but, like, if they lose this one, on top of losing to that Louisville team, are they going to beat Pitt?
No, like, if they lose this one, they're not going 3-0 at Pitt, at Virginia Tech, at Pitt ACC title game. They're not doing that.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So Texas Tech at a surging Kansas State. K-State plus 7.5. This is what you were talking about.
Yeah. Going to the Little Apple. It's another scary one. I think Texas Tech is clearly the better team. I'm a little bit worried about the quarterback position for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, me too.
Right now, both guys are pretty beat up. I believe is Hammond's out for the season, isn't he?
I think he might be. I don't quote me on that. But we need Morton back for this game. Like, if you want to cover, especially if you want to cover that spread, you need Morton in there.
Yeah, I think this is if Texas Tech's line of scrimmage comes to play in this game, it's going to be really tough for Kansas State to do anything. And I don't think Kansas State gets many stops in this game. They're going to have to score a lot of points.
South Carolina at Ole Miss. Ole Miss 13.5-point favorites. Not much respect for Shane Beamer's crew there.
Yeah. Does it? Okay. Is this a case of South Carolina? They're still a decent football team, turning the tide. They're going to be tough. Or is it that was their last ditch effort? That was Custer's last stand. Now they have to do the big road trip all the way down to the SIP, playing an Ole Miss team that's kind of on fire.
Sheesh, man. I don't know. Like, this is an impossible one to pick because you're right. Like, are they out of gas? Is that it for South Carolina? Or is this the pop-up spot? You know, like, is this, but South Carolina, to their credit, they covered against Bama. They didn't win, but they did cover. So if we're talking about the line, I think they could cover the line. It just depends on what kind of fight you get out of them.
I think I'm taking the Rebs here.
It'd be hard not to. It would be hard not to.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Sorry, Bill Carson in the comments. Sorry. Bet the numbers, not the teams.
Oklahoma at Tennessee. Tennessee 2.5-point favorites at home. Oklahoma is just like, I like them one week. I don't like them the next week. Like, I just never know what to do with them because you don't know what you're getting out of a tier. The defense is going to be solid.
A gross game.
Yeah, it's not. I don't like
this.
It.
This is really nasty. I think one thing for Tennessee, it's you are utterly reliant on Heupel scheming up some open wide receivers because I don't think mano-a-mano you're going to outplay Oklahoma on that side of the ball. So you're going to have to scheme some guys wide open, or you're going to have to get like a special teams touchdown like Texas got that broke that game open.
I don't know. I didn't like what I saw from Oklahoma last week in a huge spot at home.
And it does. Rocky Top is different. One of the true home field advantages in the sport. Yeah.
USC at Nebraska. Nebraska plus 6.5. Another chance for Matt Rule to get a top 25 win here.
Does Nebraska wearing all black uniforms at home change your thought process on this game?
Man, I don't. Nebraska is like, they're 6-2. They're a decent team. They've been kind of clutch at the end of these games, but I don't like them. Like, I just like, there's something about this team I just really don't trust or like. And USC is good. And they are going West Coast, but it's not all the way to the Eastern time zone, you know, like, so like how I don't freaking know, man.
Give me the Trojans in this one. I think it's a bad matchup for Nebraska. I think Nebraska doesn't do well against teams that can run the ball, and USC can run the ball.
Nebraska doesn't do well against good teams. Whenever they play a good team, they don't do good. Like they beat Northwestern. Congratulations. You beat Michigan State. Awesome. Really good job. I don't think you covered in either of those games. And so, like, why should I pick you to cover here? Cincinnati at Utah, last game we'll talk about and sign off. Utah's 8.5-point favorites. Big spread at home. Utah, like, they either lay waste or they lose. Like, it's been kind of weird what they've done the last couple weeks.
That backup for Utah, man, he was running all. Colorado's bad. Yeah. Colorado's bad, and Cincinnati does a lot of things well. Big time altitude game here. It actually might not be that big time of an altitude game. Let me check the weather before making my official pick on this game.
What makes an altitude game?
It has to be like 3,000 feet of difference.
Cincinnati's not kind of high up.
Well, Salt Lake City isn't as high up as you think. It's like in the valley kind of thing. So that's it's not as much as you would think it is. And Cincinnati is actually pretty low, only 742 feet. And then this is
only on a college football podcast could you be doing these sea level calculations to see if there's an advantage.
Yeah, actually, this is Salt Lake City is at 4,300 feet. This is officially an elevation game. Utes. Utah. No, Pete, don't overthink it. Utah at home at night.
I'm going with Utah. I'm
Done.
going with Utah. Like
Done.
Cincinnati has been good, very
Mhm.
good.
Really like them.
This is the time that it comes to an end. Like this, Utah's 2 losses are to 2 really good teams. Utah's like they're so high up in the SP Plus. I want to say they're like 10 or 12 or something.
They're so high up in elevation.
They're so high up in elevation, and the angle of their dangle is directly proportional to the heat of their meat. And they are at 4th. They're like top 15 in the SP Plus. And for having a team with 2 losses, like they're higher in the SP Plus than where the rankings put them. They're a good team. They've lost to only 2 really good teams, and the one was very close. So, give me the Utes. That was a long way of getting there, but we got there.
We did it.
That's going to do it for the show. Make sure you subscribe to the Sons of Saturday on YouTube, to the Two Deep podcast feed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe there. And of course, follow Billy and Pat over on the Sons of Saturday feed as well. If you made it to the end of the podcast, use go
elevation.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I love
nice.
It.
Let's
Simpatico.
go.
Synchronicity, Sam. And until next time, go Hokies.